Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ice Cold Sports News. My name is DeMichael Cole, and today we're going to talk NFL predictions, my NFL predictions for the upcoming season. The NFL season starts in 1 week, so let's get started. We're going to start off with the NFC East. The NFC East this year should be pretty competitive, but quite frankly, it may not be the most fun division to watch. My pick to win the NFC East this year, none other than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm picking the Cowboys simply because they have a strong offensive line and should have a strong running game to go with that line as well. Now, the Cowboys will be without starting quarterback Tony Romo for the first 6 to 10 weeks of the season with an injured back. But Dak Prescott should be able to hold his own just enough to get them over the edge in the end. Yeah, I predict them to have a 9-7 record. Yeah, not that good of a record, but this division won't be that pretty. Now let's move on to the AFC East. My pick to win the AFC East this season, the New England Patriots. Yeah, I know they'll be without starting quarterback Tom Brady for the first 4 games. But, quite frankly, it won't matter that much. Each of the other 3 teams in the AFC East play 2 playoff teams in those first 4 games. So they won't have that big of a lead on the Patriots without Tom Brady. You keep it close if you're the Patriots, and Tom Brady will take care of the rest. The Patriots will win the AFC East this season. Now let's move on to the NFC West. The NFC West should be a 2-team race this year, the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals are the reigning champions, while Seattle took the crown 2 years ago. So who will win it this year? My pick, the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are a more complete team than the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks have simply too many questions that are unanswered right now. Who will be the starting cornerback opposite Richard Sherman? How will the offensive line hold up to protect quarterback Russell Wilson? Who will replace starting running back Marshawn Lynch? Those are questions that are unanswered for the Seattle Seahawks. Why? The Cardinals have less questions. The Cardinals return most of their players, and by the way, they get a healthy Chris Johnson this year to go in that backfield with David Johnson to form one of the best running back tandems in the league. You know their defense is going to be pretty good, and the offense put up numbers last year. So the Cardinals are my pick to win the NFC West with a 12-4 record. Now let's move on to the AFC West, the division that contains the reigning Super Bowl champion, Denver Broncos. But what if I told you that's not my pick to win the AFC West this year? No, it's not Kansas City Chiefs either. My pick, the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, that may shock a few people, but you should really watch this team. With one of the better young quarterbacks in the league, Derek Carr, and one of the better young wide receivers in the league, Amari Cooper, they will form a nice tandem that should keep that offense steady. And by the way, they have one of the best defensive players in the league, Khalil Mack, roaming on that defensive line. That's my pick to win the AFC West. The Broncos will still be pretty good, by the way. Of course, they have that quarterback issue that nobody knows how that will go. The Kansas City Chiefs, they'll be pretty good as well. But the Oakland Raiders, they were pretty good last year, but they were young. Expect that young team to take a veteran jump this year and take that division. Now, let's move on to the NFC South. The NFC South last year was won by the 15-1 Carolina Panthers. And that's my pick to win it this year, the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers will win that division again and repeat for the 3rd year in a row. But hey, I don't think it'll be as big of a cushion as it was last season. Tampa Bay, that's an interesting team to watch. And you never know what you're going to get from New Orleans and Drew Brees. But Carolina, they should be pretty good on offense with one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and Cam Newton running that offense. And oh yeah, they get Kelvin Benjamin back this year to help that wide receiving core, which struggled last year. The defense should be pretty good like always, minus Josh Norman. So the corners will have to step up, but expect the Carolina Panthers to win that division. Now let's move on to the AFC South. This division features a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty. My pick to win the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Jaguars will take a big jump this year. As you can tell, I'm leaning on these younger teams to take these jumps. But yeah, the Jaguars are my pick. I like their young quarterback, Blake Bortles, and I like their wide receiver core with Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson. They also had maybe the best draft in the NFL during this past draft. So I think that'll be enough to get them over the hump in that division. The Colts and Andrew Luck, if he's healthy, should be a close second. But the Jacksonville Jaguars should win that division. Now let's move on to the NFC North. My pick to win the NFC North, the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers returned Jordy Nelson, who missed all of last season with a torn ACL. The Green Bay Packers clearly missed his services last year as they couldn't find a deep play target to replace him. The Minnesota Vikings, they were a trendy pick all offseason until the loss of starting quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to a torn ACL. Without Teddy Bridgewater, it's hard to see this team winning the division. So I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to win this division with a pretty good cushion. Now let's move on to the last division of the day, the AFC North. Well, these two teams, they had a pretty interesting playoff game last year. The Steelers and the Bengals. Oh, I can't wait to see that game this year. But my pick to win that division, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Steelers have a very talented team this year, including one of the best offenses in the league. The Bengals won't be bad. The Bengals have a very good offense and one of the best wide receivers in the league too. But the Bengals, I don't think they have that competitive edge over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it'll be close all season, but the Steelers will edge them out to win that division. All right, now you know which teams I think will win each division. So let's add on some wild card teams for each conference. The two teams that I think will get in out of the NFC are the Seattle Seahawks, no surprise there, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, big surprise there. Well, as you can see, I'm in love with the young teams with a lot of potential. So I'm predicting that starting second-year quarterback Jameis Winston will lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the playoffs. In the AFC, the Broncos and the Bengals are my two wild card teams. The Broncos are the reigning Super Bowl champions, and even with their quarterback issues, that defense alone should be enough to get them to the playoffs. Well, the Bengals, they're going to be pretty good. They're just in a tough division with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they should still get in the playoffs comfortably. Now we're on to the big stage, the Super Bowl. Well, to be honest, this wasn't really a hard decision for me. The two teams I'm picking to make the Super Bowl are the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, sounds like a rematch, doesn't it? Well, this will be a pretty good game. But to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to pick the Green Bay Packers. I cannot pick against Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl, so I think the Green Bay Packers will edge out a tough Pittsburgh Steelers team. But Pittsburgh Steelers, they do have secondary issues, and that's why I think the Green Bay Packers will edge them out in the Super Bowl in a close one. All right, this has been DeMichael Cole bringing you the Ice Cold Sports News. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe below. All right, thank you.